Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be covering my remix of Nowhere to Go by Hayden James. Without any further ado, let's just get into it. So I'll start off with the drop part first. As you can see, there are like layers of drums first. This is basic stuff, basic kick and clap, and then there's a reverb clap over here, and a couple of white noise effects. So this is that future house groove that almost every track has nowadays, but yeah. Additionally, I've added this one to give it a little bit more presence. Yeah. So yeah, couple of basic drums and loops and here and there, more or less. And then this is the main part, which is the drop bass line. So this has a couple of layers onto it. So on top over here, you can see that I've used a 3x oscillator. This is only for sub effects here and there, like to give that transitional feeling. I'd say, yeah, something like that. But yeah, to give that transition effect, that there's a switch in the note. I've used this one. It's pretty easy to make also. You just have to put the note that you want to slide onto and double click on it, and then there's the slide option. Just press that and accept. So this is there, and then serum. This is only for that atmospheric feel. Otherwise, this would have sounded something like this. Since I only wanted it to be part of like a atmosphere, I've kind of added a lot of reverb and removed all the lower frequencies on this. You can see over here, and then stereo enhancer to give it that white stereo effect. Otherwise, the bassline would sound a bit empty, I'd say. Not exactly empty, but it kind of gives it that presence. This is just a normal analog bass. And yeah, no, remove that low bass, and that's all. Nothing more onto this. I've used this stereo shaper so that it kind of has that white presence. The next one. This is also sort of an analog bass, just that the cutoff might have been a bit more up if I had used the other preset, but yeah. This is called PA trance bass. Okay. Another layer. There's only mid-range to this, and I've used a camel crusher to enhance it a bit. And this won't be audible unless you're wearing headphones. This is actually a techno bass line, but I kind of used it over here. It's got a very nice punchy low end, which kind of enhances the bass. And this is a very common future house bassline preset. This one's covering the mid-range, and I've kind of set it into mono, the last one. This is the sub part. This is also a tech house bassline, but it sounds really good along with this one. There's kind of a note variation over here. I've added the length of the note is a bit more on the ones that have a good bass effect, and the ones that are only triggering the mid range, those notes are a bit shorter. So it's not necessary that you have to do it this way. You can keep the note length more also, but I kind of like it this way. So I have used it over here. And this is what it sounds like together. And you can see that there are a couple of random sweeps also over here. This is from the Vengeance dubstep pack. Kind of like using those reverse basses. Gives it a bit more groove, I'd say. So yeah, you can use any sample pack which has these kind of bass lines for this if you want to make something similar. And the vocals, I've used it as the way it came together. There's nothing additional that I've done over here. Over here you can see that there's one small effect that I've added. This kind of effect, it's kind of very popular in all LithuaniaHQ tracks that I've heard at least till now. So what exactly you have to do for this one is there's a reverb trigger over here. Yeah, you can see. So the volume of this one comes up along with this automation. So what exactly it's doing is, this has got a bit more wet range. I mean, it's more wet compared to the normal reverb that I've used on this one. And decay is the same, not much difference in that. But yeah, it kind of gives it that effect. So what exactly that does is it's a drowning effect, I would like to say. So apart from that, you have a simple orchestral single string lead, very common in almost all deep house tracks. So this one I had to render it out since Contact was taking too much of my RAM. This is again the resample that I got along with the remix pack. So this is part, yeah, that's more or less for the drop. And let's see how I made the bridge. So bridge also has very minimal elements. This is a baseline arrangement that was inspired by Dynoro. You might have heard this one in his track In My Mind. Sounds really good and it's very minimalistic and it just fills out the whole stereo. So over here I've used a 3x oscillator for sub, and there's a resonating bass line from Serum, and then there's this this is that Don Diablo style lead, but yeah, I've used it in a very low end. That's why it sounds like this. So yeah, this one, it doesn't have any lower frequencies. There's a lot of reverb and stereo effect, not much into it, but yeah, I've kind of added a couple of effects. These are acting on this one single channel, so it kind of forms that sandwich kind of effect together. And yeah, this is something I'd like you guys to see. This is it's kind of giving that slow build up effect into the drums. So it makes a very smooth transition into the next part of the bridge. Okay, now we'll take a look into the build up. For the build up part, the first one, there's this. It's a very minimal snare loop that I used. And the main snare is this one. There are two automations for this one. One is for the volume and the second one is for the pitch. So what the volume automation exactly is doing, it's like increasing the volume of the snare slowly. This is something I learned from Respawn. What he tells is, like, instead of bringing the snare as loud as it is into the build up, we can like make a volume automation and get it slowly into the build up scene. And what exactly it does is it makes the mix more cleaner, nothing else. And there's just one simple sweep that I've used for the build-up, nothing complex. And yeah, before that, take a look into this one. Now this is the main bass line without the sub on it, so kind of gives that energetic build up effect, like telling the crowd that it's about to come. Sounds wrong, but yeah, whatever. For the fill part, yeah, there's one sub effects, again 3x oscillator. It's dropping first and gliding up, slide notes, and I've used this crash effect. Now these two automations are increasing the volume of the crash sound slowly into the drop. So like the last crash hits at the first kick of the drop. You can use this technique, it's pretty common and sounds really nice. Gives it a good effect. For the second drop, you can see over here it's the same as the first drop, but there's only slight difference. So you can see the kick hits over here and then it goes blank. There's nothing in between this loop, this bar, and then it continues again with the double kick. So this is what I like to say, it's that bring that beat back effect. Kind of, if you're too lazy and you just want to add something unique for the second drop, it kind of makes a lot of difference when someone is listening to it. It kind of feels different also, so you can use this technique. And just same, it's just the outro. So yeah, that's more or less the whole track. That's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new today. And please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Since I'm new to this, I'll be making a lot of videos more, which will have resources, free samples and all that stuff. You can have my projects file as well. And in case you want to clarify some doubts, or you want to know something more about production or about my music in general, shoot me a DM on Instagram @Nippandab. It'll be helpful for me to grow awareness about my music as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye and take care.